Welcome to the Back to Me podcast, where we help multicultural incoming freshman women and men manage their entire college experience throughout post-graduation to successfully transition into entrepreneurship and corporate workspaces as new hires.
Back to me. Oh, I turned it around. I'm back to me. I finally figured it out. I'm back to me. So when you think you have nothing, back to me. I go back to me. Yeah, I'm back to me.
Hello, everyone. It's your host, Yoli Tamu. Did you know that what you feed your gut could actually contribute to your anxiety and affect your brain? In our first episode for 2024, we are joined by Samantha Grant, 3-time award-winning functional medicine nutritionist. If you're thinking about starting the year off with a healthy detox, Ms. Grant shares the 5 main ingredients in your meals that you should consider removing from your diet. Find out the truth about soy products, and then consider stocking up on her suggestions of healthy proteins, along with crunchy snacks and veggies for your dorm or apartment. Develop a lifestyle of feeding your gut what it really needs so that you can truly feel the difference. Enjoy. For those of you on campus, it's time to really get serious as we head into and open this new year. We have Miss Samantha Grant. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you were able to be with us, and I'm so excited to hear what you have to share. A functional medicine nutritionist. What is that?
Well, I am a nutritionist. I went to a special school when I finished my undergrad. And mainly what I do, I work with doctors. I work with people from all walks of life to help them find the root problem of their issues. And I address that through diet and supplements using herbs and Chinese herbs, Western herbs, vitamins, minerals. I use specialized testing. So some of the tests that I have available to me, you won't find at your doctor's office necessarily. So it allows me to take a deeper dive into kind of what's going on with you, to see if we can head off some issues before they begin, or if you're having some issues and you're not getting full resolution through your medical doctor, then I come in and help as part of the team to get you back to, feeling good and living life and having energy. And, this is a very busy life for all of us with technology. We're always on call and we have a lot of responsibilities and distractions. And so my goal is to help people find sustainable lifestyle solutions so they don't have to totally reinvent their life, but let's fine tune it. Let's tweak it. Let's get you being your optimal self.
That's fantastic. So we're serving college students here, and they're in emotional transition, as we all are. All the time.
Yes, all the time.
All the time. But that college experience is new, and it's definitely a major turning point in a student's life. And so, it's the first time to be an adult on campus. It's the first time to really start getting serious and taking care of that body and their mental state. All that is key. So I just love to open the year with this conversation so that they can, really start taking this thing serious. And I understand you do serve young women sometimes, or you speak to young people?
I do. Actually, young women and young men. I actually have a college freshman. My son started Cal State Long Beach in August. So a lot of this past summer was really me helping him get prepared for that transition, mentally, emotionally, physically, spending more time in the kitchen with him, helping him, come up with quick and easy meals, because obviously as college students, there's not a lot of time to prep for food. There's not a lot of space if you're living in a dorm, and there's not a lot of money, And some campuses offer pretty good meal plans. I scoured Long Beach's menu and offerings, and they do, they have pretty good options there. So I just helped him get prepared for that transition and how he can better take care of his brain and body so that he can be the best college student. And then, there's all temptations and late nights and fast food on campus, off campus, late study groups. So I really just want to help kids, young adults navigate all those temptations, pitfalls, and just how to make best choices without stressing them out because they already have enough on their plate.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
and then, with young women, my work really centers on hormones because we know that as women, we have different hormonal challenges at this age than guys. And so, I just want to help them again feel better, function at a higher level so they're able to manage all their many, many responsibilities.
That's fantastic. And when I think about the choices that you mentioned before, yeah, it's about making the right choices because, we know that some students and even adults, but definitely it's prevalent with students, they just don't eat. Sometimes you just don't eat.
Right, right. You hit it just there. It's like choices. We have choices all the time. And at the same time, we're never going to get it right 100% of the time. And that's really my approach with people because I don't want them to beat themselves up if they, mess up one meal. It's like it's one meal. Every meal, you get to start over. You haven't ruined the entire day or the entire week because a lot of us, including myself, have this little bit of perfectionism. And I feel like if I can't do it 100% right, then I'm just not going to do it at all. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Forget it. Yeah.
So I'm trying to teach, hey, you can still have the fries, have the late night, fast food run and still be okay. Let's do an 80-20. Let's get it right 80% of the time. And that again takes some of the pressure off. It's like, you're not going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I know that. I know what my weak points are. And at the same time, I allow myself to have those and not beat myself up about it. And then the next meal, I start over with a better choice. It's a balance.
That feels good. I love that you gave moderation a percentage, 20%. I'll take it. That's a
Right,
good number.
right. Because we hear it all the time. Eat in moderation, moderation, moderation. It's like, well, what? That's not very specific, right?
Hmm.
That could be anything. I could make
Yes.
anything look moderate if I really wanted it.
Right.
So, yeah, I feel that helps. It just gives some parameters. Again, that's not a fast and tried rule that it has to be 80-20, but I think it opens up space in our mind to relieve some of that perfectionism, to have to get it right every single time.
I love it. I love it. So here we are. We're at the top of the year, and I understand that you offer your clients a healthy detox. That's usually the time everybody wants to get a good, fresh start. Can you share some of those tips with our students and how they can make a detox happen on campus?
Yeah, absolutely. And January, you're right. Health and fitness is top of mind. I mean, we see it everywhere. New Year's resolutions, like it's really it's like a restart button, right? And a lot of the kids are out of school for the holiday, so it gives them a little space and time to think about their goals for the new year. So I offer that in a group for my clients because also I feel like we need support when we're trying to make a life change. And so I do a group detox every year and it consists of some supplements that I use, but it's essentially 2 protein detox shakes a day, a healthy meal, and a snack. And really the goal is to just kind of reset and kind of maybe to examine some of those habits because so many times we're just on autopilot, right? We eat the same thing every day. We're just in this habit because it's easy. We know it, it's convenient. So it gives a chance for pause to kind of, what am I eating every day and what could I change? And so, for students that aren't able to join like a detox plan like that, some healthy tips, things to focus on, like reduce your sugar intake. If you can, obviously after the holidays, this is why I do it in January, like slow down on your sugar consumption and especially what you're drinking. Because a lot of times we don't think about the calories, the sugar, more so the sugar that we're eating when we're drinking, right? We think of it actually putting sugar in our mouth and eating something. But I feel a lot of sugar intake, especially in college kids, comes through drinking energy drinks, right? Because they're tired, they've been up, they're studying, they're running to class. And it's very appealing to drink something that's going to give you energy. It sounds great, right? The marketing's fantastic. However, the reality is most of them are loaded with sugar and caffeine. So yeah, you're going to feel energized for an hour or two, and then you're going to crash. So I would say, to focus on reducing the amount of sugar that you're drinking. So And I know I don't live under a rock. I know there's alcohol intake on campuses, right? That's part of it. So, I say also moderate that. That's a good time in January because you're not on campus usually. And it's a good time to take a break from alcohol too. So that's part of the detox: sugar, alcohol, and then really focusing on getting in your protein. I find that so many of us are deficient in protein, and we really need those complete amino acids found in mostly animal proteins. And so the detox is really focusing on whole foods, meaning something that's not in a bag or a package or frozen or in a box. So, like a chicken breast and like roasted broccoli or a sauteed spinach or cauliflower rice or a salad with some chicken. And then healthy fats. Like, I really want all of us to focus on healthy fats, but especially college students because they're good for our brain and they help us focus. So, things like walnuts, avocados, so guacamole, one of my favorite
Oh, yeah.
snacks.
Mm-hmm.
Guacamole with some wonderful, there's a brand I really like called Siete, and they make grain-free tortilla chips because the corn will raise your blood sugar, and a lot of us have sensitivities to corn and don't really know it.
Right.
So I love having like 15 of those Siete chips with a serving of guacamole. Very filling, high in fiber, good for your brain. And it doesn't feel like you're on a diet, right? You can have chips and guacamole on a detox. Sign me up, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Siete.
Yes, siete.
Okay.
And then focusing on eliminating, I like to eliminate soy, dairy, sugar, wheat, and corn while I'm doing a detox. Those are the 5 big ones that most of us have an issue with. And obviously reduce your caffeine intake. So it's something you can do. You don't have to join a formal program. Just really focus on eating whole foods like protein, vegetables, good healthy fats. Have some of those fun foods like the Siete. They make a whole line of really delicious products: tortillas, chips. They even make cookies that are low sugar and grain free. So it doesn't have to be so restrictive. I feel like so many of us, when we hear the word detox, we think, I'm going to starve. I'm not going to have anything to eat. I'm going to be bored. I'm not going to be able to see my friends. And so I try to make it, accessible and doable for everyone so that you don't feel like you're restricting so much.
So Siete, how are you spelling that, and what store can they go
Yeah.
to?
Sam, IETE. I think it means 8 in Spanish, I think.
Okay.
They are at all major grocery stores now. It was a small family company down in San Diego, and they were bought, as a lot of these smaller companies are, by a much bigger corporation. So now they have a lot of distribution. So Ralph's, Bonds, Whole Foods, any of those types of stores will have Siete products. So I encourage you to try them because they really, look, the purpose of the chip is to get the guacamole in your mouth.
Yes. Yes.
That's why we're doing it. But also, I know when we're stressed, we want to crunch, right? We want a salt, crunchy thing. So I like having that. And then also in the detox, adding in some fruits like berries are your best choice, high in antioxidants, low in sugar. I like apples, again, because of the texture and the crunch. So I have apples with some almond butter, easy, quick snack, something you can do in the dorm or in your room. You don't need a lot of special equipment to do something like this.
Man, this is so good. A couple things came to mind as you were speaking. When it comes to the smoothies, so you said 2 protein shakes and a meal is a typical detox. How do you feel about the amount of fruit? Because if we're trying to get low on sugar, sometimes people will fill up the whole cup.
Oh, absolutely. They're like, look, my delicious fruit smoothie that I'm having, like Jamba Juice is great for that, right? When you see the sugar content of those drinks, you're like, holy cow.
Right.
So I typically stick with half a cup of frozen, and the frozen berries, believe it or not, are better in a smoothie because they give it more texture. Plus they're more affordable. You can buy big bags at Costco. You can buy, Trader Joe's has great frozen fruit at a really good price. And again, on those berries. But the difference too is when you add in the protein, it slows down the sugar release from the pancreas. So it decreases the transit time. So you don't get that big, spike in your blood sugar like if you just drank a fruit smoothie. And then the other trick I like to do with smoothies is adding, and Ralph's, Vons, Pavilions, all of these stores have these it sounds weird at first, but it's chopped frozen avocado pieces.
Oh.
And when you put it in your shake, have fruit in there, and I like to use a little almond milk for mine. When you blend it, you do not taste the avocado, but it gives the shake this really amazing creamy texture. Plus, remember, avocados are our friend. They help with fiber, they help with fat, they're great for our skin. So it's a great way to boost the nutrient content of your shake. And also, it just makes it taste really good.
Yes. And then I also heard I love how you said 5 specific ones is what I think I heard.
Mm-hmm.
Soy, wheat, corn. I'm so glad that you said those because, like you said, some of us go out and get their blood work done for their blood type. And then you're supposed to eat according to your blood type. There's a book out there about this. And, you like you said, you'd be so surprised about soy.
Oh, yes.
When you're trying to be a vegetarian or a vegan, the whole thing, particularly vegetarians, what is their replacement to soy?
Right. Great question. I get this a lot. Soy is not the health food that it's marketed to be, in small amounts like edamame, because that's the whole form of soy, right? Edamame, tempeh, which is a fermented soy, even tofu now and then is okay. But when we get into these manufactured products like soy bacon or soy burgers, when you think about the amount of processing it takes to bring a soybean, if you've ever seen a soybean, I grew up in North Carolina. My dad farmed soybeans, so I know exactly what they look like. They look nothing like bacon. So, think about that. Like, how much processing did it take to bring this soybean to make it look like a burger, So one of my favorite alternatives to soy is pea protein. I really like pea protein, and there are a lot of great pea protein powders. I'm not going to lie. It's really difficult as a vegan and vegetarian to get the correct profile of amino acids. And so I find it virtually impossible to help someone do that unless they are supplementing with some sort of protein product like a pea protein powder. Trader Joe's has a great one that's really affordable and doesn't have sugar in it. But I feel like that's a really great resource for my vegan and vegetarian clients is a pea protein.
And then what about the canned beans? Because if they're not eating meat, is that what they're eating? Beans?
Yeah, that's a good question. So if you look at a label, one of the tricks I teach clients is when you look at a label and it has the nutrition facts on there, whatever has the most amount of grams is what that food is. So let's take beans, for example. I'm paraphrasing, I'm estimating here, but I believe protein per serving of beans is probably about 7 grams. But carbohydrates are like 28 grams. So beans are actually carbohydrates. Yes, they do have some protein, but they're mainly a carbohydrate source, which is the food group most of us overeat, right? Carbohydrates. Now, beans are great for their fiber content. They have a lot of, really good nutrients in them as well, but they are not a replacement for protein. They are a supplement for protein, but they're not a replacement. So I say, to mix that with, if you have one of the pea protein shakes a day, it's about 20 grams of protein. Most of us need about half of our body weight in grams. So, if you're 150 pounds, you want to have at least 75 grams of protein a day. And that looks like a 4-ounce chicken breast, a protein shake. It would take you about 4 eggs to get 24 grams of protein. So eggs are another source and they're easy, and they're easy to find. Starbucks has like a protein box that has hard-boiled eggs in there. So there are ways to get it in, but as a vegan and vegetarian, you have to work a little bit harder to get to those grams.
I'm glad you brought up eggs because at Trader Joe's, which is one of the most affordable places, particularly for students, pasteurized eggs are a little more expensive. Do you think they should consider that or just grab some cage-free eggs and you're fine?
I say, I buy my eggs at Trader Joe's for that exact reason because of the price. Eggs really got outrageously priced this past couple years. So, I say when possible to get organic free range. And I think their organic free range are still like $3.99, which is great. I mean, you get 12 eggs. That's a great reasonably priced protein source. The other thing I like from Trader Joe's, which may not go over well with your dorm mate, but canned tuna.
Mm.
You know, you're going to
Filling up
smell
the
up the
place.
entire room with that. But that is a protein packed source and it's pretty clean, the one at Trader Joe's.
Mm.
And, also tuna, great for the brain, great for brain health and focus, those omega 3s, and pretty affordable protein source.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, tuna is great. You're absolutely right. So now maintenance. I mean, this is a great list. And I think it will help and contribute to lessen anxiety and all the emotional mood swings that happen when you don't eat right. So what do you suggest to maintain? How can they maintain? And what does that plan look like for balancing school and everything else?
Yeah, I would say obviously to keep it as simple as possible. So for me, the simplest way is to eat whole food. Eat a chicken breast. Like in the cafeteria, there's always a salad bar most of the time on every campus. So putting together a salad, cottage cheese is also a great, I know it's not part of the detox because it's dairy, but we're talking about maintenance, right?
Yeah.
Cottage cheese is affordable, portable, and pretty good, and you can mix it up. You can put some of that fresh or frozen berries that we talked about in there. You can add some, chopped nuts on top. That's a complete satisfying meal right there on the go. So in maintenance, it's like really, I want people to focus on protein and vegetables and then fill in with the other stuff. Like, yeah, and there's going to be times where you want the fries. And I say, eat the fries. I'm going to probably eat fries tonight because I'm going out to a special event.
I love it.
And that's, it's like, okay, I'm having my salad today and tuna with olives. I love olives. They add a lot of flavor and that good, healthy fat.
Mm-hmm.
And then tonight, yeah, I'm probably going to share some fries with a friend, and that's the other thing. Sharing some of those foods with your friends is helpful because then you're not eating the whole thing. But I say, just really try to change your mindset about your plate and just make sure you're getting some vegetables, some good healthy fruits in there, and always make sure you're getting some protein.
Mm-hmm.
Then whenever you're going kind of having your treat of fast food or fries, you've already got a really good foundation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are sometimes foods. They should not be the bulk of your diet. And also give yourself a break. You're surrounded by that food all the time. You're surrounded by people eating that food, and just do your best. Just do your best. Some days you're going to be great, and other days, you're stressed out because you got finals coming up and you don't have time to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just say, focus on the protein, the vegetables, those good healthy fats, sprinkle in the fruits, keep things. I'd say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? I'm not the first person to say that. But it's true. So, when my son comes home on the weekends, I have a bag packed for him to take back of favorite things. Some protein bars. There's some really good ones on the market. Aloha bars are some of my favorites. And they run sales all the time, like buy two, get one free. And so that's the other thing. I look, what's on sale this week, because it can get expensive. I like Aloha bars. There's another bar called No Cow, COW. I like those bars. And then, like we were talking about, cans of tuna, like nuts. Trader Joe's has great individually packages of almonds and cashews and walnuts. Throw those in your backpack when you're running between campus, running between classes. It doesn't have to be hard, but you have to plan a little bit, with those types of things. But, I would say do your best, focus on whole foods, try to eat less out of a box, less out of a package.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was also interesting when you had said, most campuses have the salad bars. It's so true. Nowadays, a lot of these campuses have fully stocked cafeterias and buffet, centers.
Oh, yeah.
So there has to be some discipline. So what you're saying makes a whole lot of sense. Just go to Traders and grab snacks to fill your day.
Yeah. And if you start with protein first, like you make sure, okay, I'm going to have the fries or something. But if you have some chicken or a burger patty or some tuna, you're going to eat less of the fries. That's the other secret of protein. And fat also helps that. So like we're talking about avocados and nuts and my favorite guacamole. That also, because fat is very filling, it fills you up. So then you're less likely to overeat some of those other foods. those carbohydrates that aren't the best for us all the time.
Wow. So valuable. This is so good. Thank you. My goodness.
Good.
Valuable
Yeah.
stuff. So now we always close out with the final words of encouragement. And I'm just thinking for that young person that, needs to maintain, stay focused. Do you have some words to keep them on that healthy path head into 2024?
Yeah. One thing that I've noticed, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and one thing that I've noticed with clients is when you start making healthy changes, when you just start making small changes, like, for instance, I have a lot of patients that need to be gluten-free. So when they stop eating gluten, they start feeling better. And they're like, is it really because of the gluten? And then they'll go back and they'll have some gluten because they're at an event or they don't have a other option, right? Or they're on campus and it's like, I don't really have a good option today. I'm just going to eat the sandwich. Then they feel it. They're like, oh, wow, now I feel tired and bloated. So a lot of times we don't notice. The mind is a kind thing when it comes to this because we don't remember how bad we felt, right? When we start something. And so I find that if you start making healthy changes, just kind of pay attention to how you feel. Like, wow, I was more alert that day in class, or wow, I woke up this morning and I felt so much better because last night I had, some ground beef. I went to Chipotle and I had, instead of getting the burrito, I got it in a bowl with some lettuce and I skipped the tortilla. Wow, when I woke up this morning, I felt clear. I wonder if there's a connection, or wow, my skin has cleared up. I don't have as much acne now. I would say to notice those small changes because that is what will motivate you to keep going. Small changes and getting some results. Just kind of build on that. You don't have to do it all on the first day. You don't have to make this blanket plan that you're going to do. I'm only going to eat this, because most of the time we can't sustain that. Right.
Right.
So just notice, really start to pay attention how you're performing in class, how you feel when you wake up in the morning after you've had a night of not so healthy eating compared to a night when you ate something healthy, and kind of build on that feeling of the goodness. Don't concentrate on how bad you felt, but concentrate on how good you feel. And I think that will build those healthy habits over time. And it takes time. And so I would just say to keep going and just notice the good things, and you will build on that, and know that you're not going to be perfect. None of us are, even me. Been doing this for 20 years. I'm not perfect, and I will never be perfect. And it's too much stress to be perfect.
I just love your explanations, because when you think about food, some people say food is medicine, and you can look at that positively.
Absolutely.
Not negatively. Like, it's not supposed to taste good because it's medicine.
No, right. And it's true. And one thing that most of us don't know, because we weren't taught this, is most of our serotonin, which is our happy hormone, the one that makes us feel good and keeps us upbeat and positive, that is produced in our gut. So if your gut is happy, if you're feeding your gut good foods and healthy fats like that, it absolutely has an effect on your mood and your brain function. There's such a deep connection between the gut and the brain. So I would say that's also a big motivator, especially when, in college, you just have so many pressures and your brain is on all the time. And then when you're not in class and you're on TikTok or, and your brain is on. And so to be able to fuel it and to give it what it needs, we really need to feed the gut.
Wow. Fantastic. This was so good. My goodness. So I know that people are going to want to reach out to you and maybe go to your website. Do you have a website or maybe an IG account?
Yeah, I have a website and an Instagram account. My Instagram is Sam F. Grant CN. And I post on there pretty regularly. And I have a lot of great resources on there for free. And then my website is samfgrant.com. So also there's more information there about what I do, and just kind of gives people an idea of how I work. And I love, just being of service whenever I can, because there is so much information and so much misinformation. And I feel like a lot of it is overcomplicated. So I just want to really simplify it, and let's do it, right? Let's have our best 2024 Let's get our brains online, our bodies online. And, we got a lot to do.
Yes.
The world is calling for us and calling for this next generation. We've got to bring it. And so we really need to support our younger generation. And health and nutrition is a really important piece of that.
Mm-hmm. I love it. 80-20, folks. Follow the 80-20 rule. We'll be fine.
Absolutely.
I love this. Well, thank you so much. And you mentioned hormones at the top, so we got to have you back.
Oh, yes.
Hormones. Wow.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Women and their hormones. Yes. So this has been fantastic. I appreciate you so much. And I'm so grateful to Pam for introducing us. And I look forward to talking to you soon.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me on. I love it. I love your message and your platform. And I can't wait to come back on and discover and talk about more topics for your kids. It's going to be great.
I thank you. All right. You have a good one. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us. Make those small changes and simplify what you eat. Your brain will thank you for it. For more information about other episodes, remember to subscribe to the Back to Me podcast, College and Beyond. I'm your host, Yoli Tamu. Leave a review at the end of this podcast, and if you would like to learn more about other special events, join the Back to Me podcast Facebook group, or simply text Back to Me to 833-206-4565. Until next time, be well.